ẹni pé sì kan pamọ́ pé ádàbí mọ́ àjọ nù ó bẹ́tà ẹ̀yin mọ́wọ́ wọn tó ẹ̀ ní pé
àmọ́ mọ̀
abájọ sọ̀rọ̀ sí ẹni pé ọ̀làjú ní.
Oh yeah.
And we want to start the program officially. Please, we want everyone, any movement whatsoever will be allowed. Please.
No.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm also later.
Brothers and sisters. We are starting the program right away with the opening one by the Lagos District Alhaji Aiwola Baruwa. We aim always to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has observed our life this particular moment. We thank Him for His favor. We thank Him for His grace. We thank Him for giving us this wisdom. This program has been the works for so long. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making it a reality. We thank Him for the safe passage of all our members from all over the country. Those that came from Korea, from Oyo, from Osun, from Abuja. We thank you for the safe passage of our guest lecturer in all you from Saturday. We thank Allah for His mercy. As we're about to coordinate this program today, Prophet Allah, we let this program be highly successful. We pray for our entire country. No doubt, we are going through a difficult time as a nation. We pray for peace in the nation. We pray for security of the land. We pray for prosperity. The Prophet Allah will include His second, His prosperity and His favor to abound by us and with us at all times. Prophet Allah will let this program be successful. So at the end of the day, we will be able to come up with the recommendation that you are mission for the demonstration of Stephen. Not to mention them as a word of moving, Salam
Next on the program is the recitation of the glorious Quran. Al-Amin Umuni is comfortable.
We want to listen to the recitation of the glorious Quran. And to do this for us is no other person but one of us by name Al-Amin Mu'min Muslim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاطر السماوات والأرض جعل لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا ومن الأنعام أزواجا يذرأكم فيه ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير له مقاليد السماوات والأرض يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر إنه بكل شيء عليم شرع لكم من الدين ما وصي به نوحا والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه كبر على المشركين ما تدعوهم إليه الله يجتبي إليه من يشاء وما تفرقوا إلا من بعد ما جاءهم العلم بغيا بينهم ولولا كلمة سبقت من ربك إلى أجل مسمى لقضي بينهم وإن للذين أورثوا الكتاب من بعدهم لفي شك منه مريب فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بيننا وبينكم الله يجمع بيننا وإليه المصير.
صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Alamis. That was a beautiful one on the Holy Quran. Alamin is one of our children. We are proud of you. Thank you. Your Allah continue to strengthen you. Next, we move to the recognition of dignitaries. We have the representative of the Secretary to the state government. Anybody representing? It is my honor and privilege to call on the chairman of today, Alhaji Rasaki Oladejo, FCIS, the President Muslim Ummah of Southwest Nigeria, Muslim, and Deputy President General, South, Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. That is our father, Al-Hadi Al-Madani. Next is our guest speaker. Next on the program, next to the call, the BOT, the company BOT chairman, and former National Bureau, Al-Hadi Abdulwahid Nubon. The chief host for today's program, Engineer Camille Olale from FNSD, National Appeal of the Company. We have the representative of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos. We are expecting the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Kolashade Tolulope Ogunshola. It is my honor to call on the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, the Chairman, CEO, Alhaji Ustaz Sheikh Zibrulai Kule Hassan. Welcome, sir. National Member Criterion, Al-Haja Medinat Akoni, Deputy Registrar, Supreme Council of Nigeria, to be represented by the Lagos District Amira, Al-Haja Mira Saba. Is she around? Okay, she's on her way. The national officers of the companion. Just stand up for before then. We have here with us former National Assembly companion, two of them are here with us. Alhaji Musa Udin Oyepeso. Also have here with me Alhaji Wale Sonari. National Agri of the Companion, Imam Ajimuddin Jima. The National Secretary, Alhaji Abdul Ibrahim Alabi. Assistant Secretary, Alhaji Abdul Lawal. The National Secretary, Abdul Aziz Mama. On his own, the Treasurer, Mr. Tajuddin Shuaib. Treasurer, Tajuddin Shuaib. The National PRO, Alhaji Muhyiddin Adeleke. The National Auditor, Mr. Malvin, see here. The Welfare Secretary, Fatai Femi Ahmed. We have Sulaiman Biguni, representing Olakakaode Abiola.
Yes.
Amir, MSSA, the Person Street, area unit. Next on the program is the welcome address by the National Amir, Engineer Kamil Olalikon. National Amir, sir. Welcome address. Can we turn to page 6? Program version. All praise and adoration belong to Allah, the Lord of the world. I testify that Allah is one, and therefore that the Holy Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. I seek refuge in Allah from Shaitan and come and begin in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the master. I also ask Allah to show the message of God the Holy Prophet, his household, his companion, and every Muslim who follow the deed until the last day.
singular honor and privilege to welcome you all to this edition of the biennial electric national conference of our trade association, the company. I greet you all with the noblest of greetings by saying, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mr. Chairman of this occasion and the President, Osman, our father, Alhaji Oladipo, the SLP, who I understand is on our way to SLP of the state, Dr. Abdullah Mohammed Atunde Haro, inshallah, soon to be able to join. The guest speaker of today, my brother and my friend, Professor Mahfouz Adekine, Vice Chancellor, Ahmad Badi University, Kaduna. The Executive Chairman, National, our National Director of Staff, I also recognize all the past and that are here. All the National Executive Committee members of the company, the district and including other members of the company, chairperson and members of the Criterion Board of Trustees, the National Admiral and other district admiral of the Criterion, and other members. The coordinator and other members of the board, they are present, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed delighted to welcome you all and to present this welcome address in the tradition of our local association. I start by giving thanks to Almighty Allah who in His infinite mercy preserved us all to witness to Him. We are indeed grateful to Him. They will continually enjoy His favor and guidance. The company, as you are aware, is a formal faith-based non-governmental organization of Muslim independent in business and education. Our membership cuts across virtually all lawful businesses and professions, and we are committed to all-round human advancement based on Islamic values for the ultimate goal of attaining Allah's praise. Our programs and activities are geared towards achieving this mission with focus on four broad areas, namely Dawah, Islamic education and enlightenment, 2, education, 3, economic empowerment, and 4, strategic engagement for good governance. The company currently has 6 districts nationwide. These are in Lagos, Oyo, Osun, Kwara, and Cross Rivers, as well as in federal and international. Our goal ultimately is to have physical presence in all states of Nigeria and beyond. The National Conference Public Lecture we are having today falls under the strategic engagement for good governance. It is an annual forum designed to generate ideas towards addressing issues of national concern. Our modus operandi is to engage experts and other stakeholders to deliberate on topical issues, generate and share ideas with the government and the public with a view to provide solutions to the national concern identified. Our discussion today is titled Building a Nation That Works for All, prospects, and challenges. The topic is aimed at creating workable roadmap for the new administration at all levels of government to steer the shift of the country towards making Nigeria a nation that works for all. It is obvious that since independent, successive political actors in government from the leaders of the military and vice versa seem to alienate themselves from the vast majority of the citizens before. That the value of Nigeria according to well to good oil and gas and other natural resources, as well as its vast agricultural potential, including the vibrant population, the country that can now become an undisputed economic giant, competing with moderately developed economies like Brazil, Malaysia, Singapore, and India. While it is acknowledged that Nigeria is the largest economy and democracy in Africa and ranked 24th in the world by the IMF Economic Council in 2023, with great potential for all-round development, the country remains largely poor and unsafe, with visibly frustrated, dissatisfied citizens. According to the 2022 Multidimensional Poverty Index Survey by National Bureau of Statistics, 63% of the population are multidimensionally poor, having limited or no access to education, healthcare, reasonable income, clean water, and so on. The situation is so bad that Nigeria is currently ranked 163 data nations of the United Nations in Human Development Index. With much unemployment and overstretching of inadequate and poorly maintained infrastructure, many Nigerians, both skilled and unskilled, are out to seek their fortune abroad. This is, of course, in addition to those who perish in the Sahara Desert and the Mediterranean Sea while attempting to flee the country in search of greener pastures. At the last count, and according to the Nigerian Medical Association and British Medical Journal, educated Nigeria is historically evaluated in that number, but the country's recent economic troubles and growing insecurity are giving new impetus to the trend now commonly known as Java, a Yoruba word for fleeing or moving to greener pastures. According to one survey, the proportion of Nigerians willing to relocate abroad rose from 30% in 2019 to 73% in 2021. In 2022, the number of Nigerians granted work visas in the UK rose to 34,153 people, of whom 932 were medical doctors. If Nigeria is not working for highly trained and educated citizens, the condition of the uneducated and rural dwellers is better in Africa. As a matter of fact, Nigeria does not seem to work for virtually all sectors and groups. Manufacturers keep moving out of the country on account of an unfavorable environment. Education is grossly underfunded as lecturers go on incessant strikes, and many candidates are able to get admission. Youth remain unemployed in large numbers. Insecurity is widely spread. Inflation is at its highest rate. Infrastructural facilities are grossly inadequate, and so on and so forth. Perhaps the only group of people without complaint are the political and bureaucratic elites who have easy access to our commonwealth and appropriately to their selfish benefits. They tend to put in place policies that promote capital flight tied to manufacturing and macroeconomic development, engage in production and other acts of service. They will rather encourage the importation of fuel than make our refining today. But imported SUV instead of fixing our roads by generators that fix electricity, and so on. Can Nigeria demand this trend? What measures do we need to put in place to do so? What are the challenges to overcome and the prospects to channel our energy? What roles are there for the political elites, the religious leaders, the youth, the women group, the local leaders, and the generality of the citizens to play? To build a Nigeria that works for all. These and many other questions are the reason for this public lecture. Fortunately, our guest speaker today is the person of Professor Mahfouz Adedipe is eminently qualified and has been carefully chosen to address this issue. Without preempting the view of our guest speaker, I use the opportunity of today's lecture to call on our political leaders and bureaucratic office holders at all levels to exercise restraint in their profligacy and mindless extracurricular lifestyle. In the midst of the vast majority of citizens who live in utter penury, hardship, and near hopelessness. I hasten to remind them of the words of the Holy Prophet Muhammad who said that the leaders are the servants of the king, and that the welfare and the security of the masses is the principal responsibility of those in charge of their affairs. The leaders must therefore live a lifestyle which is modern and devoid of provocative obscenity, such as the approval of 40 billion naira to purchase 465 sport utility vehicles for Senate and House of Representatives members at a time when 54% of the country's youth are jobless, while 133 million persons are multi-dimensional poor. Instead of providing food programming for few privileged persons, Nigeria must care for all. The leader must strive to pilot the country towards the path of national development, in which the country attains the capacity to provide the basic human needs of the citizens and create conditions for all individuals to reach their full potential in a safe and secure environment. We pray Allah to guide our leaders in the path of righteousness and compassion for the generality of the people. On this note, I welcome the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olashade Ogundipe. I will do it. Okay. On this note, I once again welcome you and thank you for coming while wishing you a pleasant time with us. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursalin, walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Takbir. That was our National Amir, Engineer Kamil Olalekan. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome our mother, the first female Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, UNILAG. Some people will say we have just one university in Nigeria. Is it true? Great UNILAG. Unfortunately, I know of just one university, and that is University of Nigeria. It is my honor
to welcome Professor Folashade Tolulope Ogunshola, the first female Vice Chancellor of the only and one university in Nigeria. They are happy. Okay, next on the program is the opening remarks by our father, distinguished personnel, Alhaji Rasaki Oladejo, FCIS President, Muslim, okay, FCS, and they put FIS, sorry sir, FCS, President, Muslim Ummah of Southwest Nigeria, Muswain, and Deputy President General, South, Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mr. Chairman, sir. You're welcome, sir.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The Amir of the companion our chief host here, the Vice Chancellor of my universities, Professor Ogunshola, the Deputy President of Muswain, Alhaji Wale Shonaike, former President of Amir, the Chairman Board of Trustees, Laji Onibo, Chairman NACON, Alhaji Zikrillah Azam, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to commend the companion for thinking up this very important lecture at this critical point in the nation's development. The lecture topic, building a Nigeria that works for all, prospect and challenges, is very apt, as it is akin to hearkening to a genuine clarion call by a government that is intent on making a difference, but obviously overwhelmed by the inherited developmental challenges that are so enormous that could easily make the lily-livered chicken out without batting an eyelid. So this public lecture coming at this crucial juncture in the nation's history is a patriotic acceptance by the companion to make their contribution to the pool of fecund ideas from which the nascent administration, headed by our dear brother, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, will be expected to tap in his avowed determination to put the nation's development on a high throttle this time around. I trust the ability of our distinguished guest lecturer, Professor Mahfouz Adedimeji, Vice Chancellor of Ama Patigi University, to do justice to the topic. And I don't intend to preempt his fertile submissions with these short opening remarks of mine. However, it may not be totally out of place if I briefly weigh in on what I consider to be a categorical imperative, a sine qua non, in the developmental roadmap of this country. For any meaningful and sustainable development, it is high time the government jettisoned the long-held pretenses to superficial development without the requisite developmental superstructure. Now is the time to begin to face the reality of the inevitability of an homegrown industrial revolution. In other words, Nigeria must start its own industrial revolution now if we must make any genuine headway in our desire to truly develop. It is no longer sustainable to continue to depend on development models forced down our throats by the West, whose real intent is anything but altruistic. To develop the Nigerian economy, we must adopt an economic model which is focused on sustained investment in infrastructure areas of power or electricity, transportation, gas and energy, and digital technology. Investing in all the four segments will bring about significant investment activities by the private sector, thus helping to diversify the economy. The diversification of the economy will create hundreds of thousands and millions of jobs, and thus lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty. We must therefore consciously work towards attaining this development model, which strongly supports the private sector to unlock wealth that will significantly reduce poverty in the country. With these few remarks, I warmly welcome everybody to this very important lecture with the potential of proving to be a game changer in our country's struggle to chart a true path to genuine development. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Takbir. That was our father, Alhaji Rasaki Oladejo. Alhaji Rasaki Oladejo is also the chairman, BOT, Unilag, Muslim Alumni Association. Thank you, sir. You can hear that. Great Akokai. Now you today, oh. My time is coming, huh? Okay, then. Before we continue, I would like to recognize NASFAT's president, Mr. Olani Yusuf, ably represented by Abdurrahman Adoge, Executive Secretary, NASFAT. Could you please stand up for recognition? Takbir. Similarly, we would like to recognize our district Amir. Once again, we start from Lagos. This is Lagos. Alhaji Olawale Barua, Lagos. Kwara State, from Kwara, Alhaji Ismail Okunola, please. Oshun, Professor Wasiu Adebimpe, is he here? Represented by Nabil Amir, Oyenide, Ayoride, Takbir. Then we have Oyo, Dr. Bashir Olanrewaju, represented. Where? Okay. Dr. Bashir Olanrewaju. So you are representing the Amir of Oyo. Okay. Alhaji Nuruddin. Okay. Zakaria. Alhaji Nuruddin Nurain Zakaria. Okay. So Abuja is not here. Who is representing Abuja? Abdul Fatai Femi Muhammad. Takbir. Now we move on to the next item. That is the citation of the guest speaker. Are you? Yes. Okay. We're doing a delegate. Citation of the guest speaker will be handled by Alhaji Muhyiddin Adeleke. Where is it?
Eminent members of the high table, revered guests here present, esteemed members of the companion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you this morning to present the citation on Professor Mahfouz Adedimeji. Mahfouz Adedimeji is a professor of applied English linguistics at the Department of English, University of Ilorin, Nigeria, where he obtained his degrees in English language. Apart from his background in Islamic and English studies, he has acquired advanced training in other disciplines such as education, media studies, politics, and peace studies from institutions like the NUC's Virtual Institute for Higher Education in Nigeria, UNESCO's Virtual Institute for Higher Education in Africa, College of Arts and Sciences, Governors State University, Illinois, United States of America, and Kroc Institute. Yes, and Kroc Institute for International Peace Studies, Notre Dame University, Indiana, United States of America, an author and editor of books and journals. Professor Adedimeji has attended several conferences and presented papers in various universities in Nigeria, as well as in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Australia, France, Malaysia, and the United States of America, USA. He has published about 100 academic papers in reputable outlets in Nigeria and beyond. His recent publications include Towards Developing a Functional Curriculum for Language Immersion Program in Nigeria 2022, which he co-edited, and Managing Violent Religious Extremism in Fragile States, Building Institutional Capacity in Nigeria and Kenya 2022, which he co-wrote. A Fulbright scholar and columnist, Professor Adedimeji is a consultant to the United Nations Development Program UNDP Nigeria, former member of the Governing Council of the International Peace Research Association, former member of the Executive Committee of the English Scholars Association of Nigeria, and fellow of bodies like the Institute of Corporate Administration, International Association of Research Scholars and Administrators, and Society for Peace Studies and Practice. A well sought after speaker and public intellectual, he has served as a research person to various courses, including leadership courses in preventive diplomacy and conflict resolution, organized by the National Orientation Agency, NOAA, Nigeria, Executive Intelligence Management Course 12 of the National Institute for Security Studies, Buhari, Abuja, and Executive Management Course of the Nigerian Army Education Corps. He currently serves as the pioneer Vice Chancellor of Ahmad Patigi University, Patigi, Kwara State, in Nigeria. I hereby present to you the distinguished guest speaker for today, Professor Mahfouz A. Adedimeji. Put your hands together as we welcome you to the microphone.
Takbir. A former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ilorin, Professor Sulaiman Abu Karim, once described our eminent scholar as a renowned wordsmith, a very brilliant academic, hardworking researcher, and one of the most promising alumni of the University of Ghana. Professor,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين إن الحمد لله نعبد ونستعينه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا من سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. The chairman of today's occasion and president of Muswen, Deputy President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, and Father Alhaji Oladeja, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, the University of Choice. I mentioned here when I was here for a similar lecture during the month of Ramadan that actually wanted to attend the University of Lagos. I'm happy that the Vice Chancellor is here. But I said Lagos can be unpredictable. I was told that they saw my name, that was in 1991, 1992, and I left Osun State. But by the time I came back, I checked the board, my name had disappeared. So I had to attend the Better by Far University, University of Ilorin, which incidentally is the most sought after university in Nigeria for 10 years consecutively. There is no doubt about it because it is a scientific fact. The executive chairman of NACON, Alhaji Dekulai Hassan, the chairman, BOT, Alhaji Onebo, the deputy president of Muswen, our mothers well seated here, and my chief imam, the chief imam of the University of Ilorin, Professor Nasir Abdul Salam, I can see him there. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to adopt the existing protocol and say that Abuthu fikum tahiyyatan islamiyatan atiratan qaidan assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. After thanking the Almighty Allah, I begin by saying that it has caused me a great privilege to be at the University of Lagos again, of the invitation of this leading association of Muslim professionals, the companion for this engagement. Just as the chairman said, I appreciate the resourcefulness, the versatility, dynamism of the companion, especially how the qualities that are brought to bear on Islam without leaving anyone behind, especially the women and the youth. I know that the companion has the women wing and the youth wing. I have a feeling that if the model championed by this foremost association is adopted by other Islamic organizations, it will go a long way in addressing many of the challenges that we face and redressing many of the social ills that have become fossilized in our society. So I recall a lecture like this that was organized in March 2013 by the companion. That was in Ilorin. And I appreciate the leadership of the companion under the president, Engineer Kamil Olalekan, FNSC. And I pray that the Almighty Allah continue to lead the association to greater heights. The topic of today's National Conference public lecture is both apt and relevant. It is the beginning of a new administration in Nigeria, anchored on a renewed hope, an admission that our hope had been dashed before. This renewed hope engenders a new beginning, and the expectation is that the new federal government led by the president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will build a country that works for us all, not just only those who send prayers to email addresses. It is an opportunity for Nigeria to make a fresh start and a new beginning in the cause of nation building, which is actually our collective responsibility. The National Conference also coincides with the beginning of the new Hijra year. This is just the third day of the second month. And the implication of what I've said so far is that there is a need for us to build a Nigeria that works for everyone. And it is imperative for us as Muslims to commit ourselves to rebuilding the country and our faith. Introduction. I begin by recalling that 2 weeks ago, while speaking at a forum with members of the Nigerian community in St. Petersburg in Russia, Vice President Kashim Shettima promised Nigerians that Nigeria will work again. And then we'll find it on the first page of this day newspaper on the, I think, 30th of July, 2023, that Nigeria will work again under Tinubu, says Shettima. According to the Vice President, be rest assured that in the next 9 to 12 months, there will be a swift change in the fortunes of Nigeria. He noted that the current administration will harness the vast human and material resources to move Nigeria on the path of sustainable development and growth, while also reiterating that the president passionately believes in the Nigeria project. And I ask, what is the Nigerian project to which reference was made? The Nigeria project, because I was thinking of engineers when I was coming, Engineer Camel, that everything is about projects. So Nigerian project has to do with the totality of effort, spearheaded by critical stakeholders to forge a cohesive country that is characterized by peace, development, security, and social justice. A country where the hopes and aspirations of the citizens will be fulfilled. The Nigeria project, in which all of us are stakeholders and builders, is all about the national effort to resolve the contradictions underpinned by the multi-ethnic nature of post-colonial Nigerian states in order to forge a peaceful, united, and prosperous nation out of the diverse nationalities molded into a geographical entity by our common colonial experience. The quest for nation building, or to build a country that will work for all, has been the aspiration of successive governments of Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with the Nigerian climate. There's nothing wrong with Nigerian soil. There's nothing wrong with the Nigerian people. The only problem has been the failure of leadership to do the needful over the years. But as important as leadership, health, infrastructure, and insecurity. For instance, the Davos 2023 Inequality Report noted that 3 of the richest Nigerians are wealthier than 83 million Nigerians, combined wealth of 83 million Nigerians. These inequalities are the root of Nigeria's developmental challenges, and it is critical and desirable that Nigeria must work for all Nigerians, regardless of who they are or where they are from. My presentation essentially delves into the past with a view to understanding the present. I try to situate the challenges with Nigeria within the context of the broken windows theory, and I reiterate the challenges confronting Nigeria, which I identify somewhere. It also highlights steps that must be taken by the new government of President Tinubu to build a Nigeria that we shall all be proud of and restore confidence in our country. The next section is actually about the colonial history of Nigeria, how the fate of Africa was sealed in Berlin in 1885, when the vast African continent was balkanized by the European powers. And then they consolidated on the gaze of the colonial incursion into Africa, which had actually started before then. The Berlin Conference was not the start of colonialism. It was just a meeting of the colonial masters to say, let's take the knives. You cut this part of the cake, let me cut this part of the cake so that there wouldn't be any conflict among us. With a population of 200,464,780 and 791 people. That was as at August 16, 2023. Nigeria is regarded as the most populous country in Africa. Africa is also the oldest inhabited territory that we have on Earth. So here, I briefly recalled what happened in 1851 when the British bombarded Lagos and they expelled the reigning King Den Kosoko for insubordination. They installed Akintoye, and by 1861, Lagos was declared a British colony. other parts of the country were also captured one after the other till about 1900, when what we refer to as Nigeria today had effectively come under the influence of the Royal Niger Company. Nigeria as a country has a romantic story. The name was actually coined by a British journalist, Miss Flora Shaw, who in her 1897 dispatch to a newspaper, The Times of London, just thought of the territories around the Niger, the Niger territories around Niger area. Then she coined that term, Nigeria. When the first Governor General of Nigeria, Lord Lugard, when he saw that report, he was fascinated. Nigeria, Nigeria. So he fell in love with the name, and then he also fell in love with the lady. The two of them eventually became husband and wife, just because of Nigeria. For the administrative convenience of the British, the amalgamation of the Northern and Southern Protectorate was made, and the modern Nigerian that we know today, was born in 1914. It was this amalgamation that unified a cultural and linguistic mosaic numbering about 250 ethnic groups and over 500 languages across Nigeria. The process also laid the foundation for what will later become a marriage of convenience among the ethnically, linguistically, and religiously diverse people of the country. One thing that has been evident in the history of Nigeria is that instead of the colonial masters to use parameters of commonality to bring the people of Nigeria together, they wanted to adopt the policy of divide and rule to their maximum advantage, as we have in Omolewa in 1986. As a result of this foundation that served the interest of the colonialists, we have had a country right from the start and not a nation, because a nation will be more cohesive than we have now. So the British actually prepared the ground for mutual distrust, ethnic rivalry, and religious bigotry, which have become evident in every facet of the Nigerian polity. So, in spite of the wobbly foundation and the challenges thereafter, it is fantastic that Nigeria survived various forces against our soul. Nigeria survived the 2 world wars. She survived her own civil war, and she also survived various political forces massed against her soul since about 110 years now, including the tyranny of the military. Nigeria, in spite of her perfections, was so blessed at a point that the problem we had was what to spend money on. It wasn't money. Nigeria had so much money that it became a problem of what do I even spend this money on, not the money itself. Though the situation has not been perfect, but we believe that there is still something to be done to rescue the country. And people will no longer be trooping out en masse as a result of the dysfunctionality that pervades the horizon. It is against the backdrop of the potential that Nigeria holds that we believe that she can be the best in the world. Understanding the broken windows theory. In 1979, one Stanford psychologist, Philip Zimbardo, conducted an experiment. And what was the experiment that he conducted? He looked for 2 neighborhoods, the rich neighborhood and the poor neighborhood. And then he abandoned 2 cars over there. And then he broke the windows. Less than 3 days after, the car in the poor neighborhood was vandalized further. Almost everything there was removed. And then he went to the rich neighborhood. People were a bit hesitant. Then he still broke the door. About 2-3 days after, people joined, and then everybody in the rich neighborhood too started to vandalize the car. What was the point that he was trying to prove? Okay, maybe before I even mention the points. Taking the experiment further, in 1982, two other scholars, Kedden and Wilson, followed the researcher Zambado in his observations, and they also promoted the theory of the broken window further. And they summarized the study that neglecting to address any problem in an environment, no matter how small it is, will negatively affect people's attitudes and behavior towards that environment, leading to bigger problems. When you leave a little problem unabandoned, people will continue to create more problems within that particular environment, and the small problems will eventually become big problems. So their solution essentially is that there's always a need to address very low-level crimes, restore order to the neighborhoods, and prevent more violent crimes from happening. This is because failure to address problems, small problems, failure to address small problems will lead to bigger problems, and addressing small problems will lead to a better environment and better behavior among the people. For instance, as beautiful as this auditorium is, if somebody litters it, somebody will see this, and then intuitively, another person will just take what is in his pocket, and then he will dump it there. And then before we know what is going on, the whole place will be unkempt. That is the essence of the broken windows theory. I anchored this presentation on this theory because of the fact that Nigeria, over the years, had left little problems unattended to. And the little problems of the past have become so gigantic that they have already overwhelmed us. The corruption of the past. Right from the First Republic, people have been writing petitions about the corruption of the people in power. How much did Oyenosi steal? For what reason were people sacked in the past? When people abandon children without educating them, that situation will continue for some time before the children now become wise, and then they are going to be attacking those people that are responsible for their oppression. The trajectory of Boko Haram, for instance, actually started from this Alimajiri syndrome. Everybody will go to the north. We experienced it. Then small children will be waiting at the restaurants, and then before you finish eating, if you wanted to drink, before you finish drinking, some people will have food on your food, and then they will take everything away. The problems were left on they eventually learned how to use the gun. So, as one observer noted, if there was a broken glass in a house, there will be no consequence as such if a child broke it, and no precaution will be taken in throwing it in the dustbin. I'm trying to manage my time. In Nigeria, small problems of the past have become big today. It was a small problem leaving children without proper care, without paying attention to the education. And those people that we avoided, that we abandoned, have become Boko Haram bandits and terrorists of today. It was a small problem of the past that graduates were not securing employment from the 1980s. But it is a big problem today because the unemployed graduates have turned to cyber crime, defrauding innocent foreigners, and destiny the image of the country across the world. And they are mastering their craft every day. They are graduated from ordinary Yahoo to Yahoo Plus. And all over the place now, even in popular culture, people even tell you that you should do ritual. That is how bad the situation has become because of our failure to address little problems in the past. As a matter of fact, the failure of successive governments to pay adequate attention to citizens' welfare and well-being had made all crimes related to our insecurity to assume the dimensions to which they are free today. There is no doubt that educational, environmental, economic, and social issues that have become so monstrous are product of minor wrongful actions that we fail to attend to at the right time. Now, talking of the challenges or the problems with Nigeria, I identified some 15 problems here. May not have the luxury of going through everything that is under. The first one is poor leadership. which I made reference to. We have another problem that has to do with bad role models. Almost every young person now has a role model. And by the time you want to look at the quality that this role model has, there is no quality. There's a particular young person who has become notorious for impregnating young women all over the world. And it was a talk of the internet. And instead of people, if it were to be in a traditional culture, the parents of that young man, who is a musician, will have summoned him to a family meeting. Why will you be the one that will be impregnating people in France, impregnating people in America, impregnating people here in Nigeria? But at the end of the day, the person eventually became more popular with that particular. But at the end of the day, many young people actually adore this young man. Another one has even become more notorious, even to the extent of saying that when the king died, another king would remain. Because of all the young women that remain in the world, it is the wife of the revered monarch, Alaafin, that is interested in now. So we have bad role models, and they have millions of followers. On social media, hardly will you find any main personalities here seated, having 100, 200,000 followers. But these people who have 1 million followers, 5 million followers, they are the ones that the society, the young people are interested in. And that is why our problems are where we are. We have the problem of acute greed, which feeds corruption. And we have the problem of religious bigotry, the people that are intolerant of other people's political and religious views. And, okay, let me just try to, so that's why you have it in Nigeria. The fact that people persecute, humiliate, attack, and kill one another just on account of religion, without realizing the fact that the fundamental teaching of religion is to do good and to love the other. We have economic banditry. Not only do we have people that are political bandits, we have economic bandits. So they will recolor the naira, and then they will even contest elections where they are in the public office, and then they will make life so miserable for millions of people, to the extent that people will come out in Lagos, they come out in Ogun State to burn banks because people did not have access to their own money. Pervasive corruption. We have been described as a country that is fantastically corrupt by one of the world leaders. On many occasions, for many years, we were topping the chart of the corruption perception index of leading anti-corruption agencies in the world. Then we have ethnic jingoism, the idea that my own ethnic group is superior to yours. Even if my candidate comes third, by virtue of the fact that my candidate comes third, he is the winner. The contest is not between the second and the first. It is because of the fact that my candidate must win at all costs. We will change the goalpost because we are so much obsessed with ethnicity. So I gave instances of many ethnic classes that we have in Nigeria, the 2 Jugun classes in Taraba and Benue States, the Ife-Modakeke conflict in Osun, the Aguleri-Umuleri, Urom-Akchala crisis in Anambra State. We have been fighting one another for many years on the basis of ethnicity. Whereas only God knows those who belong to one ethnic group or the other. Because many children get inadvertently swapped at the various hospitals. So an Hausa baby was given to a Yoruba person, and the person will be fighting the Yoruba, the Hausa people, not knowing that his father was actually Hausa. Political harlotry, general indiscipline, we have to, and corrosive materialism, social injustice, impunity. People do everything they want to do as if there is no law, the no consequences syndrome. So we disobey traffic rules the way we like, and the thing is, don't you know who I am? So that is the culture that we have in Nigeria, the culture of nothing will happen. I know somebody, even if I'm a TV journalist, I can misbehave and then arrogantly say, I will call the governor, just because of not doing the right thing. So because you know that when you know somebody, there will be no consequences. And then we are dealing with the problem of moral meltdown. These are some of the challenges that tantalize us in the country. And there's anti-intellectual mindset through which people do not pay any value to things that are educational, that are intellectual any longer. Many young people have been misguided to think that education is a scam. And they relegate lecturers, they don't pay their salaries, and the students that lecturers themselves teach will be making jest of them. So, and then we have criminal mentality. What do Yoruba people say about everybody being thief when no one is watching? Actually happened during the unfortunate NSAS protest. Because just as we mentioned, the issue of the broken windows theory, people that were not criminals were persuaded to commit crime because other people were committing crime. A case happened in Ilorin. Somebody saw that people were taking rice from a particular warehouse, bags of rice. And then something just told him that, when everybody was taking bags of rice, I should also go and take my own. So he parked his motorcycle outside. He went inside to take a bag of rice, to carry a bag of rice. By the time he came back, the motorcycle had disappeared. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. The next section is devoted to the discussion of the concept of nation building and the prospects that Nigeria has to rewrite her story. One of the prospects is our population, our human capital. So it has been reported that by 2035, there will be 65 million talent deficit in the world, with United States of America, Russia, Brazil suffering 6 million deficits each by then. If our burgeoning Nigerian youth population is galvanized, it will not only power the development of the country, it will also develop the different parts of the world. You know, Japa syndrome, people migrating is not a problem in itself, because these people are only there physically, they are psychologically backward, and they are contributing billions of dollars to the Nigerian economy, because everybody everywhere looks up to somebody abroad sending in money. The problem is not that. The problem is the heat that many people are feeling. It is as if living in Nigeria is a prison from which people want to escape. Somebody has to be using children to blackmail me. Now, don't be selfish. It is not because of you. What of your children? Is this where you are going to leave your children? That was emotional blackmail. So we now have people migrate because, no, it is not because of my life, but I want to raise my children in a place where they'll be able to have a secure future. The point that is being made is that if we're able to convert our population to strength, just as India and China have done, we can still do many things as Nigerians. Another prospect we have lies in arable land. Nigeria has a vast but untapped agricultural potential with about 84 million hectares of arable land, but with only 40% of it utilized. We have 279 cubic meters of surface water, besides 58 billion cubic meters of underground water, with 3 of the 8 major river systems that we have in Africa. In September 2022, the Ministry of Agriculture noted that 56% of arable lands we have in Nigeria are not even in use. If we were to harness our food production potential, there will be no need for us to depend on any country for our food security. But that is not the situation. We are still hungry because we have not converted our vast arable land to good use. Then we have minerals resources. Research indicates that Nigeria has nothing less than 44 solid minerals found in 500 locations in commercial quantities. Some of them include barite, kaolin, gypsum, Friedman coal, bitumen, lithium, lignite, uranium. Many of them. Just about 2 days ago, Femi Falana was talking about the billions of gold, billions of dollars worth of gold illegally taken out of Nigeria over the past 5 years. Just want to put them in one plane, and then nobody will know, and then they will go out of Nigeria. Despite the existence of the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, these resources are yet to be fully harnessed for the development of the country. We also have potential in trade. Trade accounts for only 17% of Nigeria's GDP and 25% of employment. And it has been the largest driver of growth in Nigeria over the past 1 decade, according to the NBS, National Bureau of Statistics. It is to be the largest sector of the economy very soon, that is in 2030, as consumption is projected to triple more than before, rising to almost $1.4 trillion. Then we have opportunities in oil and gas. As we know, we run mostly a monocultural economy. Oil and gas account for more than 90% of Nigeria's export earnings. But with Nigeria oil reserves estimated at between 16 and 22 million barrels, with some sources even asserting that we will have nothing less than 35.3 billion barrels of oil reserves in Nigeria. The potential that we have in oil and gas has also not been fully harnessed. How are we going to be able to achieve that if we do not have a functional refinery? So most of our oil reserves that we have in the Niger Delta region cannot be accessed because of insecurity we have in the area as a result of environmental degradation and agitations. And then we have potential in manufacturing, which actually helps economies to diversify and make resource-rich economy to be less dependent on agriculture and then move on to high-paying jobs. So we have other prospects in ICT, the digital economy, and tourism, among others, that can meaningfully make life more abundant for the Nigerian citizens. Just as I mentioned that Achebe said, there is nothing that is wrong with us. We have been blessed enough if only we can actually turn the blessings to wealth. So building Nigeria that works for all, the way forward, which I consider to be the recommendations. So I think about 10 of them are listed here. That the first thing is that we have to build strong institutions. Nigeria can only work for all if strong institutions replace our weak institutions. A situation in which policies and programs revolve around only those who are in power is not healthy for the development of the country. Leaders must make our institutions to work regardless of who is in power. Obama said something in 2009 in Ghana that Africa needs strong institutions and not strong men. So by the time we build the institution of the police, we build the institution of the judiciary, we build the institution of the power sector, regardless of who is in power, everybody will be able to live happily, instead of just building strong people that command a lot of power. Providing security and conflict management systems. The first responsibility of any government is the provision of security, but it is one major area that Nigeria has been failing. Just about 4 or 5 days ago, bandits said they shot down a NAF aircraft, and they ambushed and killed about 23 soldiers, including 3 officers, somewhere in Niger State. So we have to strengthen the security system. We have to equip and arm security operatives to be able to do their job efficiently. So we also have to improve our healthcare delivery system. Our hospitals have been referred to as mere consulting clinics because of lack of necessary facilities. It was reported that at least 5,600 Nigerian medical doctors migrated to the United Kingdom alone within a period of 8 years. That was between 2014 and 2022. The main reason for this medical brain drain is because of poor conditions of service that characterize medical practice in Nigeria, which results in people dying needlessly. So we have to also promote quality education. Quality education is the fourth SDG agenda. It's the fourth sustainable development goal that we have. And that education has also not been receiving adequate attention in Nigeria, where in many African countries, people be allocating 30%, 25% to education. Our own budgetary allocation to education has been less than 10% of the budget for many years now. So it is by prioritizing quality education that will make us as Nigerians to raise generations of those who will learn to live together in peace and harmony with the capacity to fight war on ignorance and poverty. We also have to address hunger, poverty, and employment. Given some figures about that according to World of Statistics reports, Nigeria tops the list of countries with the highest unemployment rate at 3%. With hunger, poverty, and unemployment, definitely security will be compromised and crime will be uncontrollable, because the sheer number of criminals that the country will have to contend with. The saying that the devil finds work for the idle hands will gain more resonance in a situation where people do not find gainful work to do. Combating ignorance and illiteracy. In September 2021, the federal government disclosed that more than 76 million Nigerian adults, representing 38% of the estimated 200 million Nigerian population, are illiterate. Ignorance is a misfortune, and illiteracy is a disease that can only be cured with education. The consequences of illiteracy are many, as illiteracy will increase unemployment, crime rate, substance and drug abuse, child marriage, diseases, frustration, and low self-esteem, all of which are inimical to national development. Africa is noted to be the only continent where more than half of parents are not able to help their children with homework due to illiteracy. We are the only continent where half of the parents cannot help their children with their schoolwork because they are illiterate. And many of us here can bear testimony to it. If our parents were literate, our grandparents would be illiterate. And even today, people are only going to school, they are having illiteracy. The literacy they are having is not really functional, it is dysfunctional, creating a new consciousness and mindset. The culture of impunity and indiscipline has to be addressed through national reawakening. Patriotism is missing in many Nigerians, including those who have been educated by Nigeria without taking loans. You find young people saying that, what has Nigeria done for me? What has Nigeria done for me? People who graduate from medical school, they didn't have to break a bank. And they will be saying, what has Nigeria done for me? You become lawyers. How much did you pay? What has Nigeria done for me? Up till the time that he became president, Obama was still paying for the school loan he took when he was attending the universities. It became a national emergency recently when the president of America, Biden, insisted that the loans amounting to billions had to be written off because people will be getting this begin to charge the right fees. People will now be able to appreciate what Nigeria has been doing. Ordinary 200,000 naira. I call it ordinary, not because it is small, but because of the fact that it is not easily affordable to many people. Even if you pay 200,000 naira per annum, education has still been subsidized. If you pay 350, the little that we have, we also have to work hard on protecting our democracy. Within the past 3 years, 4 coups have been staged in West Africa. As Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The young generation characterize the long years of military rule in Nigeria. So we have to work hard to sustain our democracy by being forces of positivity, not negativity. Only one person can win an election. Commencement of the Second World War. European countries started to rearm themselves militarily in preparation for the dire situation ahead. However, Frank Buchmann jolted the sensibilities of world leaders when he said that military rearmament was not the only solution to the impending problem. He therefore launched a campaign of moral rearmament at the East End Town Hall, London, on May 29, 1938. He contended that the crisis confronting the world is fundamentally a moral one. He stressed that nations must rearm morally because moral recovery is essential to economic recovery. Moral recovery creates not crisis but confidence and unity in every phase of life. So the significance of this is that we do not pay attention to morality any longer. The internet has become a no-go area. Everybody is generating content. And the more terrible they appear, the more followership they gain. It's quite unfortunate. Everybody has become a comedian. Everybody has become, if you close your eyes, you are going to see nudity. It has become so bad, it has become so terrible. It's only God that can actually help us. So, ethical revolution, that's what Wole Soyinka will call ethical revolution, waiting or something. I've forgotten. But he made reference to the need for ethical revolution. As I approach the end of this, I identify 5 P's. Now we have talked of the situation on ground, the challenges we face, and then we have talked of the opportunities that we have to be able to address some of the challenges that we face. But as people of faith, Nigeria cannot develop beyond our individual qualities. I'm therefore proposing 5 P's for our development. The 5 P's are very critical. They are very essential to a very successful life. The first P is that of prayer. The human mind is a powerhouse of tremendous energy, which can be accessed through the power of prayer and meditation. When people go on pilgrimage, when they go on Hajj, they go to pray to find their inner strength. So the first P that we must take as very critical to our own personal development as individuals is in prayers. Prayers putrefy problems. It is through prayers that we are able to discover inner peace. It is through prayers that we are able to arrive at alternatives and options that clear the fog and show us the way. As a matter of fact, when we prioritize prayer, we achieve self-understanding. We reduce our pains, we lower our stress, we connect better with the world and the people around us, and it helps us to improve focus and minimize brain chatter. Just pray and meditate. You will realize that you are going to save yourself of a lot of stress. We are going to end the vital layers on the step to take. These days, even among people that are religious, whatever God will do, God will do. We cannot underestimate the importance of prayers. Miracles still happen. Things that are beyond explanation still happen because of the power of prayers. We should never lose that divine connection. I will tell people that since all these years, we have always been cursing the people in government. In 1982, Adanima Gbagbe Loba Oluwa, Adanima Gbagbe Loba Oluwa, Bishop Tewanto Akun Jeshu. How much was a tuba of yam? 1 kobo. And Kollington went to the studio and he was lamenting. So Sharangari was not good, Babangida was not good. Now we are feeling the heat. Let us pray for our leaders and God will guide them right. Instead of us to be complaining and complaining all the time. People in Sudan were complaining because of the cost of bread in January this year. They were protesting. Bread was expensive. By April 15, the bubble burst. The army and the rapid support forces, they went to full-time war. And Sudan has never known peace since that time. Nobody can even protest. There is a colleague we are trying to help to come to Nigeria. Later on, we lost contact with her. because our place was raided by the rapid support forces. Let us be prayerful because everything bad can still be worse. The second P is planning. It is said that proper planning prevents poor performance. The Prophet ﷺ actually encouraged us to plan. He said we should plan for our fears in this life. We plan for the hereafter as if we are going to die tomorrow. Plan for this life as if we are going to be here forever. Plan for the hereafter as if we are going to die tomorrow. So planning is very important for us as individuals and the country. Our national development plans in Nigeria, many of them were not actually followed up with action. So we must plan, and this planning must empower us and the society at large, economically, socially, physically, and other ramifications. The third P is practice. Planning is not sufficient. We have to translate what we are planning to action. It is working on the plan that we have made. After praying and planning, we must act to execute what has been planned. We prayed that may Allah make us to witness today. The organizing committee worked on planning, and now the conference is being executed. Without practice or action, all learning is useless. Without action, all education is wasted. Purposeful action gains traction with time, and results will automatically follow. Without hitting a tree with a machete or firing an arrow at the palm top, you cannot open your mouth under the palm tree and expect palm trees to drop. Oh, Sagilogbe, oh, Tugunolofa, oh, Ogbenu Sidi, Ogbenu Oke, Ofeko. So we have to make effort. Students should study, workers should work, and everyone should act purposefully by doing something meaningful and impactful to achieve success, because no pain, no gain. 4 is patience. That's the 4th P. When action is taken, it is not a once and for all process. We still have to be patient. We have to be patient. It is not the day that we plant that we are going to reap the fruits. For today's generation, they want it now, not knowing that it will just be gradual. The Quran says that, "Wal asrina al-insan lafi khusr." I swear by the time human beings, or man generically, is in a state of loss, except those who have faith. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr. I'm rounding up because I don't want you to lose your patience with me. So Rome wasn't built in a day. So the same thing is with Lagos. Lagos was also not built in a day. The same thing with Abuja. Abuja keeps changing every day because we know that everything will require time. With patience, we appreciate that success is not often achieved immediately. We don't harvest immediately, we plant. Rather, we tend the crops, patiently we weed the plants, we water the farm, and then wait for bumper harvest. So challenges are bound to dog the path of success, but with patience and determination, we can all overcome the hurdles and attain our goals. And then the 5th P is persistence. Persistence. All the processes, all the 4 P's that we mentioned are just not to be done once. So we still go back, it is cyclic. So you are going to persist, you are going to pray again. After praying again, you are going to plan. After planning, you are going to practice. After practice, you are going to be patient. And then you persist. And then it goes on and goes on like that. So a Turkish proverb says, no matter how far down the road you are going, no matter how far down the wrong road you have gone, you have to turn back. So conclusion, with the swearing of a new president, Nigerians are still wondering whether it will be business as usual or their fortunes will change. What is sacrosanct is that we must trust the capacity of the government that we have elected, and we must keep one alive while we do our own bit in our various corners to make Nigeria greater. If everybody focuses on their responsibility and discharges their duty with diligence, Nigeria will work for all. So I'm ending with the story of the pregnant deer. There's this story of the pregnant deer that was about to give birth to a new life. And then they found a remote field near a river. I was there thinking that it would be safe. As the pregnant deer moved slowly, she felt labor pains. And at that same moment, dark clouds gathered around the area as lightning started a forest fire. Turning left, the pregnant deer saw a hunter who was aiming an arrow at her from a distance. And as she tried to move towards her right, she spotted a hungry lion approaching her. What should the pregnant deer do when she was already under intense labor pains? Would she survive? Would she give birth to a calf? Would the calf also survive? Or will everything be consumed by forest fire? Could the deer go left? Could the deer go left? The hunter's arrow was already aimed at her. Could she go right? The hungry lion was already approaching. Could she move up? There was already ahead a forest fire. Could she move down? That was where the deep was. Everywhere there was trouble. What would the deer do? You said? Were you there? Actually, in a fraction of a second, a lightning struck because it was cloudy already and blinded the eyes of the hunter. At that moment, he released the arrow, missing and zipping past the deer, fatally hitting the approaching lion in its very heart. At that moment, it started to rain, and the rain extinguished the raging forest fire. At the next moment, the deer gave birth to a healthy calf. And this is what is technically referred to as stochastic probability theory, where the outcomes and moments are non-deterministic, as future events are determined by random probability distributions that cannot be predicted. The government has introduced some new reforms. People are already finding it hard. I started with what the Vice President said in Russia. Let us have hope. Let us pray. Let us support the government with prayer. Let us also plan within this economy. Let's readjust. It is not compulsory that the husband and wife must go to work in their...
No,
You are trying to make the PC ours.
The chairman of the association, the special guest of honor, Dr. Habibat Omolara Adubiaro, ably represented, the National Amir, Engineer Camille Olalekan, the Amir Lagos District, Olaiwola Abdul Kabir Baruwa, FCA, all the distinguished members on the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank you for inviting me for this very interesting and topical lecture today. And let me thank you for deeming it fit to have this lecture. It is a lecture we require at this time. And I want to thank the companion for thinking about it and for bringing it up. We need a lot more discussions around this. Nigeria is in a transition phase. My belief is that we're moving from the time when oil paid for everything to when our taxes are going to pay for it. And it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, but I do believe that we have it in us to reach for the skies. If Nigeria is going to truly develop, I believe we're on the right path. I want to thank the guest speaker because he really hit the nail on the head. It's going to be a difficult journey, but it's not the journey for one person. It's not for the president and his team alone. It's for each and every one of us, wherever we stand and wherever we stay. Nigeria has work to do, and I'm glad that you've set the ball moving
So I want to congratulate you all for today. I want to tell you that University of Lagos will continue to work hard to make sure that we breed the right kind of students that will take leadership positions. Leadership is about tough decisions, not about the easy ones, but about what matters. And I'm glad that you're talking about it, and I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of many more conversations, because we still have a lot to do, a lot to say. So I want to thank you again for coming to the University of Lagos to have your meeting, and to say that we always welcome you. Thank you very much, and congratulations on today.
Thank you. Great appetite? Are you okay now? Visit is all right. Alhamdulillah. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. and Mrs. Sharifat Yusuf, Tutor General Permanent Secretary Education District 6, former Admiral, Lagos District of the Criterion. Also, Alhaji Jubola Sikata, thank God, Chairman Muslim Lawyers Association, Mulan, Lagos State Chapter. Okay, next on our good message is our Baba, Professor Tajuddin Benamosu.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Our distinguished chairman of today, the great alumnus of University of Lagos, Mr. Razak Oladejo, President, Muslim Southwest of Nigeria, our distinguished lecturer, Vice Chancellor, and distinguished members of the directive, President of the Admiral Companion, as well as the officers, the Admiral Secretariat, as well as the officers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May I first of all apologize for coming late to this gathering today. I missed the time, and I apologize in particular to the lecturer for interrupting the lecture. When I decided to come to this occasion, it was likely to listen to the lecture, because I heard much about the lecturer of today. I don't want to miss the opportunity of benefiting from this knowledge and wisdom. And I'm happy that I did not miss it. I did not expect that I'll be called upon to give a good message, because I came to listen to the lecture. And also, I've also come in order to pay my respect to this body, the companions. Madam Vice Chancellor, I must congratulate you in the companions, you have a large number of graduates of the University of Lagos who are doing their very best. And perhaps want to make Madam one of your associate patrons. I would like to pay a short tribute to the companions. It's as if the companions represent the modern day Ansarudeen of 100 years ago. People, young men and women of knowledge and understanding who are fired by their passion to make their contributions to the society. These were the people who founded Ansarudeen about 100 years ago. And today, many people are indebted to Ansarudeen for to the society in general. This is, ladies and gentlemen, on my right here, you have the current national chairman of PAC, and he's on that day who has created Williams, where he was in the Ghana Stock Exchange. And I think he was the deputy, retired as the deputy director. Director General. And there are many others like that. Well, I cannot count how many humanitarian services that Muslims have performed in this country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this, as they say in Queen's College, Queen's College, keep the touch on. Let us guys high school must always maintain high standards. I want to appeal to you, my dear brothers and sisters, in the company. Keep the struggle on. Don't relent and don't buckle. We need people like you to be in the forefront, the avant-garde of progress and development in this country. And just as your predecessors have been successful, I have no doubt in my mind that you, by the grace of God, will also be successful, if not more successful. And the final note I want to make, the final point I want to make before you give us those 2 minutes there, is that I want to appeal to all of you, please, please, let us be proud of Nigeria and be proud of Africa. We've always been insulted by people who are not from African descent. We are backward. We are disease-ridden. We are the capital state. We are the capital of poverty. Let them call us all sorts of names. But we know we are not that. The records show very clearly that before the Europeans, Africa was the first to reckon with in the world. The best civilizations originated in Africa. We are proud to be Africa and we are proud to be Nigerians. My dear companions, my dear Criterion members, let us keep that flag burning and ensure that Nigeria gets its true place in the world. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. May Allah continue to strengthen you. May Allah continue to protect and bless you, sir. We are really proud of you. We thank you, sir. Next, to deliver the good message, I don't know how many minutes to give you more. I've said 2 minutes, the Chairman Mikasha, Nathan, Chairman, CEO, Alhaji, Zekulai, Kule Azam. Kẹ́lì kan dá wákà lórí mẹ́kà ní. Kẹ́lì kan dá wákà. Wọ́n máa ń dá wákà mẹ́kà.
The National Director of Dawa.
National Director of Dawa. Ẹ máa dá wákà. For the companion. Ẹ máa dá wákà. Ẹ ní lóbi. And I thought, I give you. What's the matter? Gbogbo ọdún máa lọ, inshallah bí kúrò àti ìlà. Òtún tó rọ̀ lè ṣe o, I remember in companion in those days, ọba bí ṣe eré pé àbàlọ̀ ṣe Israeli Hajj, àṣẹ àbáṣe, àṣẹ alhamdulillah. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyina wa ala alihi wa sahabati ajma'in. The chairman of the occasion, the president of Muslim, and the chairman board of trustee of University of Lagos Muslim Alumni, both of which I'm a member. The guest speaker, who is indeed very distinguished, certainly very distinguished. I can imagine if you attended UNILAG, what he will have become. The vice chancellor of the university, the Great University of Lagos, Professor Folashade Ogunshola. I'm happy to say our VC here today, and I might use this opportunity to inform the Vice Chancellor that I'm actually a member of the board of the advanced management of the university. Professor Tajni Badamosi, who was our mentor and our imam, when we arrived at the university in 1981, I didn't come in 1970. I didn't live in 1975. In 1975, certainly I was in class 3. My Amir and other distinguished, I should just use 2 minutes. But let me use part of the time to say that another distinguished alumni of the university, who's also a distinguished member of the companion, Senator Shoaib Afolabi Salisu, representing Abeokuta Central, sent a message of goodwill. We were in Abuja together a few weeks ago. We were supposed to be part of this program, and it was held up in another place, and he had the understanding that the program will continue up to the evening. So he planned to be here in the evening, only to be told that by the time he's coming, we would possibly have been gone. But he sent his message anyway. I'd just like to conclude by thanking our guest speaker, and from your speech, your presentation, I recollect a prophetic tradition, a message of the Prophet. Prophet Muhammad said, "Kama takunun yula alaykum, or kama takununa kadhalika yumar alaykum." You are just what your leaders are. The followers and the leaders are one and the same. When you are a follower, you can complain. It is when you get the leadership that we know indeed whether you are different. But I also believe in the future of Nigeria, that no matter how tough it may be, our best is yet to come. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. I want the loudest voice here. And the loudest voice. I present this award, this plaque to the first name Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos. Thank you very much. It's a presentation of art to Ambassador is taking a lead. Thank you, ma'am. Next one is presentation of Dr. Alhaji Rasaki Oladejo, to be done by Naib Amir Imam Najim Jima.
Photograph. Women are in yeah. Photograph. Photograph. No, photographer.
Yes, we thank you very much. We appreciate you for coming to say this kind of love. I'm very sorry for that, because the way it is now, every person here is from Unilag. I can't understand the game because I've been in my way. This one, Unilag, that one.
Even our mirror is also Unilag. The one standing beside you.
Silvio, the man by my right.
Unilag.
Okay, I will assume this one too. Okay, the next presentation. We go to our guest speaker for today, Professor Marcus A. Adedumedi. It will be done by the NICON Chairman, CEO.
Photographer either.
On behalf of the company, we want to thank you for your many numerous contributions to the academics, the quality, to the advancement and development of our country. We are particularly grateful for you having taken your time to be part of this event. We indeed appreciate you. And we hope that you'll be able to take an Aquatic University to our level of university of the world. That would be
Hey, you're right, I think.
Thank you. Just been reliably informed that the NICON Channel 2 finished on Unilag.
Yes.
The next one, we go to the special guest of honor, Dr. Libert Molara Adukia, ably represented by Mr. Adukia. National Chairman will do the presentation for us. National Amir.
Microphone.
No, speaker tó wà ńbẹ̀ yẹn ni.
On behalf of the Companion Association of Muslim Men in the business and the profession, I appreciate the Secretary to the State Government of the State for honoring our invitation to this public lecture. And as a token of this appreciation, we are presenting this plaque to Mr. Adunde Aro for Dr. Adunat, Governor Adunde Aro, an award in recognition of your outstanding roles as food chemist, researcher, and public administrator by excellence, dated 19 August 2023. Congratulations.
Briefly, let's quickly go back to the quick message because we have not really explored our women, our sisters, which is not very good enough. So I want to call on Sharifat Yusuf for a good message. Takbir. To General Permanent Secretary, Lagos State. Education 6, Lagos.
The chairman, and all other guests on the front table, members of the companion, members of the criterion. Companion. Permit me to stand on the already established protocols. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Join everybody in congratulating the companion for this national conference, particularly for the well-presented and digested topic, which is very germane at this particular point in time of our nation. We continue to believe in Nigeria, and we believe that Nigeria will be great and rise again. From the lectures, we have been able to know that Nigeria is richly blessed with both human and natural resources. And all these blessings are very huge, but it depends on how we have been able to manage it. Consistently remember that verse of the prayer where God says, "It shall never change the condition of people until they are willing to change their condition themselves." So the question is, what are we doing as individuals in our various homes, within our various families, in our various localities, and in our various places of work? Are we willing to be that part of change agents? Or we are always looking forward to saying the president is not doing well, the governor is not doing well, the leaders are not doing well. We are leaders in our own rights as individuals in our own homes. So what are you bringing to the table? What are you contributing as an individual to the greatness of that Nigeria which we look forward to? We pray that Allah will guide us, prosper us, bless our nation, and make Nigeria to be great, great, and greater again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's Dr. Sharifat Yusuf, Teacher General Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Education, District 6. Eshema Adukwema. Next, 2 minutes, our former National Amir, Alhaji Tabit Wale Shinaika. Your good wishes, sir.
Before the please call the representative of Niger and Nigeria. Somebody is here to represent the Amira Lagos district criteria number 4.
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The chairman and my president announcement, other distinguished guests here, and all members. My short message is going to be very, very brief. It's just going to be a challenge, not only to the companion, to every one of us. The Nigeria of our dream, are we there? Obviously not. And the efforts are getting there. Is it there for the leadership alone? Obviously not. So, as followers, we must also be ready to follow well. Not only following well, we must contribute positively to the development of our country, so that what we think of, what we dream of, and what we want our nation to be, we shall all be part of it collectively. It can only be possible when we all have a determined mind. Don't let us be part of those who encourage what is bad, but rather be part of those who are encouraging what is good. As Muslims, we are enjoying to encourage what is good and forbid what is bad. The purposeful thing is, how can we get it done? How can we get it done better in a positive way that will impact on the majority of the citizens of the country? The companion with this type of lecture that we have done today, I think is a positive one. And we look forward to many more of this, not only from the companion, from the criterion as well, and many more organizations towards emancipation.
Where is it? Nothing. So our appeal is that government should do what they should do, and all of us should do what we should do. We have to populate the government values. On that note, I want to thank everybody that have listened here and give glory to Almighty God. Amen. Quickly, we want to present the plaque to Alhaja Medinat Akoni, Deputy Chief Registrar, Supreme Court of Nigeria. Also the National Amira of the Criterion. To be represented by Alhaja Miriam Saba, Amira, the Criterion Lagos District. We are recognized with mentioned her name before, but we are recognized again. This will be presented by our nominee, Alhaja Ali Uluwafi. Lagos Amira, the Criterion, Lagos District. Okay.
I want to stand as a with the permission of the chairman, sir. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am presenting this award of appreciation award to my Amira, and my mom's sake, Abeni Saba, on behalf of the companion. Keep doing this the way you are doing. For leaders, for sisters, for our deputy registrar of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and our international Amira, Alhaja Medina Akoni. Assalamu alaikum. Best wishes of the time. Thank you.
On behalf of the National Mirror, like my TDPS has said, we should not take it that Nigeria cannot be good. Let's agree for our country be Nigeria will be good, Nigeria will be better, and it's going to be a prosperity country. Thank you.
Thank you. The criterion. The criterion. One simply. Criterion. Alhamdulillah. Now, vote of thanks. But before the vote of thanks, I want to recognize my Oga, very good Oga for that matter. One of those that made me who I am today. Alhamdulillah. And he's a companion member. Very nice. You are very thoughtful. Doesn't take nonsense. Alhaji Sekulai Alimi. Stand up for the resolution, sir. Step out. Deliver message. Now, vote of thanks by the National Secretary of the Companion, Alhaji Abdulkadir Ibrahim Alabi. Let me quickly recognize our father. I didn't know he was around. Alhaji Juma Ali Oluwafumi. Very sorry, sir. I didn't see your count in time. One of those people that make companion what it is today. We really appreciate you, sir. May God continue to strengthen you, protect you, and bless you. We appreciate you, sir. You are welcome.
The closing prayer. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The companion, Syrian, Alhamdulillah, the chairman, sir, please permit me to stand on the existing protocols. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the verse of the Holy Quran, said, Lahin sakaritun la asidanakum. I will not go into the other part, because that other part is not for us. And the Prophet Muhammad in one of his hadith said that whoever will not give thanks to a fellow human being will also not be able to give thanks to Almighty Allah. For this reason, for the verse of the Holy Quran, for the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, with the fact that your excellent presence here today had underscored the importance of this gathering. The value attached to it was duly recognized. I therefore, on behalf of the companion, an association of Muslim men in business and the profession, wish to say a big thank you to all our esteemed guests today, dignitaries here present and scholars, and everyone that has graced this occasion. Your presence, your insight, your support, we recognize you are very, very invaluable. Indeed, I must say that we are honored to have the distinguished personalities in person of Haji Agibu Aro, though ably represented by our son, the CEO, Agibu Aro Farm. We also thank the Vice Chancellor, who I just left. We also thank the guest speaker, Professor Mahfouz Adedimeji, and in fact, our father, the chairman of today's occasion, Alhaji Rasaq Oladejo, President Muswen, Deputy President General, NSIA. We recognize your presence and we thank you very much. We appreciate all of you and we say Jazakumullahu khairan. And we ask Almighty Allah to appreciate you the more. We would also like to extend our gratitude to all the invited guests who have joined us today. Your support and encouragement, your good messages, and you are greatly appreciated. Your attendance reflects your commitment to the betterment of the society. And your willingness to contribute to meaningful discussion and efforts you have put in are highly appreciated. Furthermore, we would like to express our sincerest thanks to the organizer, in fact the organizing committee, and volunteers who have worked tirelessly to make this event a success. Your dedication and hard work have not gone unnoticed, and we are so grateful for your unwavering support. Last but not the least, we would like to thank each and every one of you. In fact, the Criterion members who are here present, we thank you very much. You are mothers and we recognize you. Your contributions are also very invaluable. And we thank you very much for your presence here today. Thank you once again, and we want to strive for greater achievements. We thank all other Muslim organizations that we have invited and have graced this occasion. We appreciate your presence, and we appreciate you. Particularly, NASFAT, ably represented by my brother and my friend, Alhaji Adogi. He is part of us, but he has just gone to NASFAT. Okay, you see now, you are coming back, you are seconded. So you come back, inshallah. We thank you very much, and we appreciate your patience. Please, tell the NASFAT that we are grateful. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, we love you, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to strengthen all of us in good health, sound mind, and in the next time when we are calling you, we pray that you also be here with us and grace this occasion. We pray Almighty Allah bless every one of us, our parents, our father, our brother. I was asked to do this one by a request. So all of our dead mothers, fathers, brothers, we pray Almighty Allah granted them Al-Jannah Firdaus. Bismillah in our training.
Takbir. On a final note, closing dua, we will serve God. Mo wo ni tí mo like nígbà tó fáyìn jù. We call our father to come and give us the closing dua. Alhaji Jumat Ali Olafumi. Takbir.
My dead companion members. Dead companion members. The dead companion members. Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. الحمد لله Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah in the sense that it is not sufficient for a group of people like this to come up with an idea, turn the idea into a plan, and have the plan executed and achieve the purpose of the plan, which I think is what we have achieved today. So join me again in saying Alhamdulillah, 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 Alhamdulillah. On an occasion of this nation, We had so many brothers that really founded the organization, built the foundation, nurtured it, grew it, and sustained it till this moment. Unfortunately, 1, 2, or 3 of them are no longer around in this world. The Almighty Allah forgive them, grant them His forgiveness and mercy, and admit them to Al-Jannah. Let us recite God to declare one for all of them, including some of our sisters too, that have also worked with us together, and they are no longer here. We are now, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, we are now, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid wa Lam Yulad, wa Lam Yakun Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. To all of us present, starting from the head, the chairman of today's occasion, the chairman BOT, and everybody, we put to the Almighty Allah to reward us abundantly for good deeds. As Allah has promised us that no good deed will be left rewarded. May Allah reward all of you abundantly. Our sisters who have remained on our side, I didn't say they are behind us. They are on our side. So please, we are grateful. We don't let Allah continue to bless your organization. To Nigeria as a nation, everybody, which is good for us, it is good for the government, it will be good for the people. If it is good for the people, it will be good for the government. So what we need to do to make it good for the two of us, who Allah grant us the knowledge to do, grant us the wisdom to do, and assist us to do all this. And by the time we are meeting again, we should come back and say, this program, particularly this topic, has really impacted the society. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع الدعاء ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا انك انت التواب الرحيم ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت واستغفرك واتوب اليك سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.
Thank you, sir. Takbir. That comes the end of the program. For lunch now. Going for lunch. Congratulations. Well done.
About
Thank you.